On July 27th, 2.5 weeks ago, Democratic Congressman Frank Kratovol was hanged in effigy outside his congressional office in Maryland. The staged lynching, the really well-tied noose and all, was gleefully staged by an anti-health reform protester. Later that week, on August 1st, Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas held a town hall event at a grocery store in Austin to talk about health care reform. An anti-health reform protester there greeted him with a mock marble tombstone engraved with the congressman's name on it. 2 days after that, on August 3rd, Democratic Congressman Brad Miller of North Carolina reported to the Capitol Hill police that he had received death threats over his support for health care reform. One anti-health reform protester called his D.C. office and told a staffer, quote, "Miller could lose his life over this." The very next day, on August 4th, the idea of a Democratic congressman being killed because he supported health care reform became a punchline for Republican Congressman Todd Akin of Missouri.
Different people from Washington, D.C. have come back to their districts and had town hall meetings, and they almost got lynched. And so the people...
That same day, Democratic Senator Dodd, who had just announced days earlier that he has prostate cancer, had this screamed at him by an anti-health reform protester outside one of his town hall events.
Barack Obama clearly said all you should do is take a painkiller. How come we don't just give Dodd painkillers? Like a handful of them at a time. We can wash it down with Ted Kennedy's whiskey.
2 days later, on August 6th, the Fox News anchor Glen Beck on national television turned the threat of a political assassination into the acting out of a political assassination when he and one of his staffers wearing a Nancy Pelosi mask role-played what it would be like for Glen Beck to poison the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
I just wanted to... You gonna drink your wine? Are you blind? Do those eyes not work? There you go. I want you to drink it now. Drink it. Drink it. Drink it. I really just wanted to thank you for having me over here to wine country. You know, to be invited, I thought I had to be a major Democratic donor, a longtime friend of yours, which I'm not. By the way, I put poison in your... No.
The day after that, on August 7th, there were more death threats. Congressman Brian Baird of Washington reports that his office received this fax with an image of President Obama with a communist hammer and sickle symbol painted on his forehead and the message, "Death to all Marxists, foreign and domestic," written underneath. The day after that, on August 8th, anti-health reform protesters started turning up to Democratic town hall events while armed. In Arizona, a gun is dropped during a meet and greet with Democratic Congressman Gabrielle Giffords. The same day, a man with a concealed gun is escorted out of an event held by Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee. Yesterday, the staff of Democratic Congressman David Scott arrived at their Georgia office to find a 4-foot swastika painted across the sign for their office. Congressman Scott says he was also sent an Obama death threat fax similar to the one sent to Brian Baird's office, only this one also addresses Congressman Scott himself, and it uses the N-word. Also yesterday, Democratic Congressman Dennis Moore of Kansas reports that he's received 2 death threats over the last 10 days. One he describes as a phone call into one of his congressional offices. The other is a threat he says he does not feel comfortable discussing with the media. Yesterday also brought us a healthcare town hall event featuring President Obama himself in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Among the anti-health reform protesters outside the event was a man named William Kostrick, who stood outside the presidential event with a loaded handgun strapped to his leg. He was holding a sign at the time that read, quote, it is time, to water the tree of liberty. A reference to Thomas Jefferson's famous words, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." As we noted last night, just for context, when Timothy McVeigh was arrested after the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, he was wearing a T-shirt that had on the front of it a picture of assassinated President Abraham Lincoln, along with the words "Sic Semper Tyrannis." Those were the words shouted by Lincoln's assassin right after he shot him. On the back of McVeigh's T-shirt was the same slogan that William Kostrick paired with his loaded gun at the Obama event yesterday. You can see both the sign and what Tim McVeigh picked out special to be wearing when he got his mugshot taken for having blown up a federal building and killed 168 Americans. At the same event for President Obama in Portsmouth, New Hampshire yesterday, a 62-year-old man named Richard Terry Young was arrested after sneaking past security officials and into Portsmouth High School just a few hours before President Obama was due to arrive. Mr. Young was allegedly carrying a knife when security officers found him, and when they got a warrant and searched his pickup truck, they found a .38 caliber Kel-Tec semi-automatic pistol hidden inside a bag in his truck with a round in the chamber. Today, at a town hall event for Democratic Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland, the Hill newspaper reports that one anti-health reform protester stood outside the town hall, quote, with a small handwritten sign, cardboard sign, that read, quote, "Death to Obama."